Good morning, children. Let's start with the explanation of the chapter 2 Parallels and Meridians. I hope you all are fine at home and doing well in your studies. So, let's start our chapter 2 Parallels and Meridian. Parallels and Meridians. Parallel means latitude and meridian means longitude. As we have already read in the previous chapter that the earth is spherical in shape and parallels and meridians are the imaginary lines on the earth. Look at the picture of figure 2.1. Parallels are lines of latitude. These circles which are running from east to west, they are called parallels or lines of latitude. Parallels. A set of circles is drawn on the surface of the globe. These circles run from east to west. They are called parallels or lines of latitude. Let's see some facts about lines of latitude. Lines of latitude are known as parallels. Lines of latitude run in an east-west direction. Lines of latitude are parallels to one another and never meets. Cross the prime meridians at right angles. Lines of latitude lie in planes that cross the Earth's axis at right angles. Get shorter towards the poles, with only the equator, the longest, a great circle. Children, see this figure very carefully. You can see a line which is dividing the earth in two equal parts is called the equator, which is marked at 0 degree, and the circles which are moving upwards are at the same distance of 10 degree each. That is why it is called parallels, because these circles never meet, cross each other or meet at any point. The upper part of the equator is called northern hemisphere and the lower part of the equator is called the southern hemisphere. Facts about lines of latitude. Parallels. It is measured with 180 imaginary lines that forms circles around the earth. East-west parallels to the equator. These lines are known as parallels. Equator. An equator is an imaginary line around the middle of the earth which divides the earth in two equal parts, northern and southern hemisphere. By looking at this figure, we'll come to know the line of equator. Some important parallels on the earth. By looking at the figure 2.2, we come to know about the important parallel lines on the earth. First one, the Arctic Circle, which is marked 66.5 degree north. Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north. Equator, which is passed on the middle of the earth, which is marked at 0 degree. Tropic of Capricorn, which is marked at 23.5 degrees south. Antarctic Circle, which is marked at 66.5 degrees south. The earth is divided into two halves. The upper half is northern hemisphere and the lower half is called the southern hemisphere. Some important parallel lines on the earth. Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle. In this figure, children, imaginary lines running from north to south are called meridians or lines of longitude. These lines are drawn from pole to pole. All meridians are of the same length. The maximum distance between any two meridians is at the equator. The distance between any two meridians decreases as we move away from the equator towards the poles. Meridians cuts the parallels at right angles 90 degree. Meridians are used to measure distance in the east-west direction. What is a grid? The grid consists of two sets of horizontal and vertical lines, which are called parallels of latitudes and the meridians of longitudes. The parallels and meridians form a network of lines on the globe. This is called a grid. Look at this figure. A grid is a network of parallels and meridians. Here we ends up with the chapter 2 explanation. See you in the next class.